Landmark System and Lloyds Bank. So before we move on to Vince, so Vince founded some of the UK's most well-known precision farming and digital farming brands. He's been central to the development of the AgSpace business in the UK, which he founded in 2013 and exited in 2020. So Vince continues to develop businesses within the ag tech sector here in the UK and abroad. Vince's skill set of bridging the gap between academic and commercial ventures is now delivered as an independent consultant and non-executive director, along with running profitable and scalable ag tech businesses since 2003. Vince has managed a number of collaborative R&D projects, including Innovate UK funded Agritech and European Space Agency projects. So for our closing remarks, Vince, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thank you, Cassie. Can you hear me okay? Just to double check.
Yeah, can hear you perfectly fine, Vince. Thank you.
Perfect. Great. Well, let's hope we can get through the closing remarks without the Amazon delivery and the dog barking, which is the normal interlude that these conferences are dogged with. But anyway, we carry on. I mean, on behalf of the whole organisation, I must firstly thank the sponsors, Landmark Systems and Lloyds Bank. Without your backing and support, these sorts of events can't happen. I must also thank Annabelle, Cassie and Jane for organising the conference and for it running so smoothly. I've been involved with many online conferences and presentations since the onset of COVID, and I have to say this one has run particularly smoothly without major hiccups. So well done everyone for that. Now, it's clear that these events cannot take place without the panelists, the presenters and the participants. Their contributions today have been absolutely crucial, and we'll go through in a little bit more detail each section, but I just wanted to personally thank everyone that has been involved for their contribution. It's been great. Now, as I review the conference, the first thing that springs to mind is, wow, what a diverse and interesting conference. It actually makes me really proud that the UK can be involved with so many great ideas. I mean, we've proven today that the UK is bubbling with great agri-tech ideas, and we've shown that actually having an infrastructure in place like AgriEpi and the other agri-tech centres to help harbour those ideas and develop them into successful businesses is really exciting. So those that have listened into the sessions would have gained insight into the future direction of agriculture and agri-tech's role in addressing the sector challenges. We also had panelists and representatives from throughout the agri-food chain and through the collaboration and connecting not only farmers with technology, but the whole supply chain. And that can make a difference to efficiency and sustainability of food production right across our sector. So let's very quickly review what's been happening today. And I know there's been an awful lot that's been said, and sometimes it's very hard to remember. So I've just taken out some key points from each section, and I hope this will be a takeaway message that we can all work on as an industry to do better. Tom's keynote speech was excellent, and he touched on the challenges that we face with climate change. He touched on water management and how do we make the UK more self-sufficient. And I think with the agricultural economy changing so quickly with Brexit and potential new trade deals, and also the drive and demand for new agri-tech products, how do we meet that as an industry? And just listening to this conference gives me confidence that we are meeting these challenges, we are addressing them, and it always takes time, but we will get there. The other really key thing that Tom touched on was about making farmers profitable, and I have to agree with him that sometimes profitability is lost in some of the grand challenges. You know, whether it be climate change, whether it be soil health, whether it be social benefit, you know, food security. You know, at the end of the day, if we're going to drive businesses to do the right things, we have to try and make the changes that we make profitable. And that's key. And I think Tom was really making that point. So I think it's an important thing for us all to take away as we develop new technologies and new innovations. Let's test them to make sure that they not only make the technology profitable, but also the user more efficient and profitable at the end of the day. Then we moved on to some of the drivers and barriers to the uptake of farm technology. And this was a really interesting session that included Sophie, Anthony, and Tom. And Sophie made a really interesting point. An organic farmer, often not assumed that they would be highly interested in agri-tech, but she put the challenge that she wants to adopt agri-tech, but she's struggling to make them relevant on her farm. She thought they could be disconnected and hard to integrate, and she felt the data was so disjointed that it was difficult for her to make on-farm management decisions. And again, this is a challenge that Sophie's setting to us as an industry to say, how can we chip away at this problem and improve on the way that data is integrated, and how can we make our products and services diverse enough that they're relevant to organic farmers, conventional farmers, horticultural farmers, fruit farmers, whatever, dairy farmers, and where can the links between the technologies jump across sectors, if you like. Then we had updates from Anthony from Bardsley Farm. He felt that agri-tech companies should target solutions against global challenges, things like climate change and soil health. Now, these, I have to say, I think always need to be sense checked by farmers. These global challenges are really important, and actually your own personal sort of changes can have a great impact on the overall health of the climate and the soil. But I think we need to focus, as Tom mentioned within that same session, the services and the products to solve a specific need rather than to try and solve the whole grand challenge. Because if we try and solve the whole grand challenge in one, it's probably not going to happen. So if we break it down into manageable chunks, then we can probably make steps in the right direction. And following that session, we had the future direction of agricultural policy and investment. Now, Kirk chaired this particular session, and it was clear that if you're a sort of tech developer, if you're an agri-tech startup, or even a developed business, you should now be aware of the funding that's available, whether that be the Horizon 2020 Farm to Fork program or Innovates UK's agri-tech funding strategy, or whether you want to talk about raising private investment. We've got this amazing asset within the organisation in John Grealish now, who can sit down and talk to you about what options are available, how you can focus your business strategy, if you like, to ensure that the private investment houses are there to support you and your great ideas. And that's a really unique string to AgriEpi's bow. And I think that people who are in the market at the moment for investment should be looking at not only government investment, but also that private equity and seed funding. And then we came on to a very lively session chaired by Lisa, and the session really looked at agri-tech's role in the supply food chain, so from retailers, processors, and a consumer perspective. And we had two very conflicting points of view. We had Philip, who had a very positive point of view in terms of where he thought the market was going and how he ran profitable businesses and felt it was a good time to be in agriculture. And then we had a conflicting view from Andrew, who thought that actually we were stuck in a race to the bottom. We were trying to do more with less, and it was driving prices down, and where does this all end up? And what I felt and what I gleaned from that conversation was that agriculture isn't unique in that respect. Mature markets often do drive prices down and have to become more efficient. And if producers and supply chains do not innovate and adapt, then there's no reason why they shouldn't fail. You know, our market should not be immune to badly run businesses. We're in a competitive industry. We should be driven to do better, like every other industry. And we're now going to be in a global race, if you like, to be competitive. And as Brexit really bites, and we do trade deals with other nations that perhaps are more competitive than us and the European Union, we need to up our game. But I am absolutely convinced, and Philip touched on this looking back, where in 1940, a UK farmer fed 19 people, and today they feed over 200. Now, I am confident that with agri-tech And with the technologies that have been discussed and have been developed today, that number will only keep increasing, and the pot will become bigger for each farmer, even if each ton, the margin per ton is squeezed. So we must look at this in a constructive way and build technologies and services for the future that sort of meet this ongoing change in our industry. Then we jumped into the afternoon session, which really was fascinating for me. Seeing the Hands-Free Farm in a bit more detail was great. They're based at Harper Adams Farm and obviously closely linked to the EPI's Midlands hub. I personally think they're doing a fantastic job at getting on and implementing ideas. This is something I'm passionate about. I think it's a great British mentality that we crack on and we try something, even if it's doomed to fail, we try it. But in this particular case, I don't believe it's doomed to fail. I believe what they are doing is driving really important change in the industry. And even if it forces and changes some of the big manufacturers to look differently at how they're pushing ever bigger machines on farmers, then this has got to be a great thing for our market. And I applaud them for what they've done and what they are doing, and look forward to the response. And interestingly, I tweeted this morning that there is now a combine harvester in the UK that's priced at £850,000. And I thought, I wonder how many small machines could be purchased for the same cost. And Tom came back to the tweet and said he didn't think that robotics or autonomous vehicles would ever replace a conventional combine, and he may well be right. But when you consider, according to Hands-Free Hectares, that I could buy 28 small machines or robots for the price of one big machine, surely we can achieve the output from 28 smaller machines compared to one big machine at the same cost. I just find this really exciting, and some of these challenges we need to meet. You know, why is it that a single machine is costing so much money? And then we came on to Duncan at the Southwest Dairy Centre. Now Duncan has been a real leader in the dairy industry as a whole. He talked about the facilities that we have across the UK, which are open and ready to support the agri-tech innovation within the dairy sector. I have to say, if you haven't visited the centre, go and visit it. Duncan he's just done a fantastic job of turning this into a world-class facility. And you know, for looking at innovation and new ideas, and how, you know, he mentioned looking over the horizon. I mean, it's incredible. You know, they're integrating gaming industry skills to improve animal welfare. You know, I'm really proud of what that team is doing, and I think, you know, as an organisation, we can look to that as a market, we can look to that as a real feather in our cap of success. And it always impresses me how dairy farmers have moved so convincingly into robotics. I think the rest of agriculture needs to wake up and look at what a lot of the rest of agriculture believe is a dog and stick industry, and see that they have moved so convincingly into robotics. They have become more efficient, they're becoming more sustainable. And you know, in terms of the technology curve, I think dairy is really leading the way, and they should be a real sort of industry to follow as we try and catch up in some of the other sectors. I must also congratulate the winners of the Agri-Tech Hackathon. It was really impressed with VetImpress and their solution, and also Antibot. I mean, these ideas are so exciting, and these are names that I will certainly follow, and we should all be following over the coming years. So to sort of wrap up on a personal level and take home messages from myself, I'm someone who's been in the agri-tech industry for nearly 20 years, believe it or not. I understand the challenges of having a great idea but not having the skills, the finance, the knowledge to get that idea to market. And that challenge in itself is why EPI exists. They are there to help you develop and launch your product into the market. And all it needs is a phone call. All it needs is to sign up to the membership. All it needs is a conversation with the likes of Kirk or Dave or Duncan or Cassie or whoever, to say, look, I've got this great idea, how can you help? And I think that that's what today is all about for me, is ensuring that those of you sat on this call today that have got this great idea or started this concept and you're not sure what to do or how to take it forward or how EPI can help, come and have a conversation. I implore you to do that. It's the most important step you will ever take in moving your business forward. So I have to say, I wish I was starting my business now. I mean, something that I'm really proud of, and I hope that everyone can get behind this as a concept and get behind EPI as an organisation to move this forward. I would like to just finally say I'm enormously proud of the staff. I'm enormously proud of the facilities that have been developed and the networks. I will close the conference now, but please do reach out with your ideas, with your thoughts. And if anyone has any direct questions, I'm sure Cassie can provide my email address and I will reply to everyone I can.